Hey, Shalom, Mashal, I want to start off. So, by giving all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahshua, Hashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS, and honors you, brothers, in the work of truth, while sincerity. This is a quick one. This one's inspired from that, the latest Avengers movie. My guy Thanos. It's more the concept, certain things that were touched on in the film and stuff like that. I'll try not to give any spoilers or whatnot, but basically the whole point is, look, what will be done will not be undone, cannot be undone, right? This is actually a bit of a spoiler, but this is Hollywood. It was going to be a happy ending, whatever, what have you. But basically, look, man, you ain't going to, you ain't going to undo what the Lord is about to do to this earth, right? Which is the whole premise, really, of Endgame, right? Undoing what Thanos had done, right? Which was basically wipe out, half the population of life, right? And basically, the Avengers being the Avengers, being Hollywood, Esau being Esau. At the end of the film, basically they undo what Thanos did, right? But look, man, when the Lord does what he's doing, it ain't gonna be undone, right? It's Isaiah 55 and 11, right? It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it, right? So the Lord has said something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. The Lord didn't say that, the children of Israel, they're going to be living nice and lovely and lavish or whatnot. But then, right, all the people that got destroyed in the nuclear war, right, they're going to come back, and Esau going to get his rulership back as well. Now, that's, that ain't what the Lord's about, right? In fact, you read Isaiah 45:17, right? It says, but Israel shall be saved in Yahweh with an everlasting salvation, right? Everlasting. So it ain't going to be taken away from them, right? He said, ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end, right? So Israel's kingdom is going to be an everlasting kingdom. No one's going to come and be like, oh, we're going to take the kingdom from Israel. That ain't going to happen. Let's see what precepts we got here, right? Daniel 7:14 says, and there was given him dominion and glory and the kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Yeah, so the kingdom of Israel ain't gonna be destroyed, right? I mean, who gonna destroy it? Israel's gonna be Israel. We gonna have that spiritual power, where everything's going to be all righteous, right? That's what the scripture says. Scripture says they seek a kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness. That's what we see, right? And hey, everyone going to be happy, right? They're going to love that we on top, right? Because, right, hey, we've had examples of, of the wicked in rulership, right? And that ain't got anyone anywhere, right? And we in the rulership of the worst of the heathen right now. When everyone's everyone's on drugs, antidepressants, right? And let me get this as well. It says 2 Ezra 6 and 9, right, which says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? So that's how we know we're in the last days, because who's in rulership? Esau, the so-called white man, right? Now we've once again you can prove that, through manifold scriptures, right? That's a whole topic in itself, right? Who are the Edomites, right? But yeah, it's what do you call it? We can tell that this is the end of the world because Esau's in rulership, right? But then it's prophesying that Jacob's going to get the next rulership, right? That's why it says in verse 8, it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. That's what was being referenced by that act, right? Because you've got to understand, with the Lord, right, and with these scriptures, things are written because they're important, right? And when the time is right, the understanding thereof is brought out, right? So Esau was the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? It doesn't then say, but then after X amount of years, after 5 years, the Avengers are going to assemble, right, and undo the Lord's handiwork, man, right? Because once again, you had the chariots come down, right? You had the destruction happening, whatever, what have you, right? And what's ultimately that representing? That's representing the Lord coming back, right? Because the Lord's going to come. What Esau, the so-called white man, calls UFOs, that's really the chariots of the Bible, which is why whenever he, whenever he puts it on film, he always has weird-looking creatures coming out of it, right? Because he can't control whether the people see chariots or not. However, he can control what the people think when they see them chariots. So when they see the chariots, they be thinking, oh yeah, little green men, or weird looking creatures or whatever, what have you. But no, it's really the angels of the Most High, right? And yeah, they are coming to bring terror, right? It says Psalms 83, 89 and 34. It says, my covenant will I break, right? The Lord made a covenant with Israel, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The Lord made a covenant. He ain't gonna break that, right? Which ultimately was all part of the plan, the master plan, right? The Lord put away the children of Israel, Hosea 1 and 9, right? But the Lord made a way for Israel to obtain the promise that was already given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Which was dominion over the world, rulership, right? And to be a nation of kings and priests unto the Lord. However, because we messed up, right? Because we sinned, we're not able to be in that land. We're not able to fulfill, get what the Lord promised us. So the Lord made a way in Yahweh Shai, right? So it says, my covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that is gone out of my lips, right? So the Lord has said, America gonna be destroyed. The Edomites gonna serve hardcore bondage for all the wickedness that they have. The Edomites gonna serve hardcore bondage for all of the wickedness that they've done for the children of Israel, done to the children of Israel, and to the earth, and to these heathen nations, right? Scripture says in 2 Ezra 6, near the end, if all things be made for our sakes, right? So all these things were made for our sakes, right? Including the heathen. The heathen are our toys, right? They belong to us. Yet Esau has gone around and fucked with them. Like imagine you might have a PlayStation or whatever, right? And then some what do you call it? A cousin you don't like or whatever comes and he breaks your PlayStation, right? You gonna be pissed. You gonna be like, man, fuck this kid, man, right? But you gonna want revenge, right? Well, ultimately, these heathens, they're our PlayStation, right? They're our toys. They were made for us. They were made to serve us. And in the kingdom, they're gonna enjoy serving us, right? So, Esau has touched them, right? So he's gonna have to pay for that, right? And after 1,000 years, right, of hardcore bondage, Esau's gonna be burnt, pursuant to Obadiah 1:18, right? It says, and nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips. So none of those things gonna be changed, right? In fact, let me grab that. It says Malachi 3 and 6. It says, for I am Yahweh, I change not, therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed, right? So it's only by, once again, the power and mercy of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai that we're not consumed, right? Because if the Lord changed, right, Lord put us away. I said, I quoted Hosea 1, right? The Lord said, lo on me, for you ain't gonna be my people, right? However, the Lord is a man of his word, right? He's a power of his word, right? So it's like, all right, cool, so y'all are some hard-headed niggas, but look, man, I'm gonna create a way. I'm gonna create create Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai is going be the adoption back to me, pursuant to Hebrews 8th chapter. In fact, Hebrews 8, but also Romans 9, where it says, to whom pertaineth the adoption, right? Because we got adopted back to the Most High through Yahweh Shai. But once again, right, the deeper understanding of it is that this was, set up from the beginning, right? Because when you read about the elect were formed from the beginning, right? From before the foundation of the earth, right? It's Isaiah 34:16 says, "Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read," right? So not these other, doctrines. Don't seek after them, because they're only doctrines of madness, or they ain't gonna get you anywhere, right? Them books are to your destruction, right? But it says, rather seek out the book of Yahweh and read, right? So read out the holy scriptures, right? The Bible says that none of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. What was the point? Yeah. So the point I wanted there was, and none of these shall fail, right? No one of these shall fail, right? So all of the prophecies are written over in these scriptures. They ain't gonna fail, right? They going They gonna come to pass, right? They're gonna come to pass, and they ain't gonna change, as we have read. That's the 2 Ezra 9:2. It says, "Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." Right. But let me start from 1. He answered me then and said, "Measure thou the time diligently in self, and when thou seest part of the signs pass which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." Right, because the Lord's he's coming back to visit this earth, man. He's coming back to visit, and how has he come? He's coming with the host of Israel, right? The armies of Israel, the chariots of Israel, the chariots of God, right? He's coming back with the chariots, and a great destruction is going to come. Right? It says Isaiah 66:15. It says, "For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind," right? "To render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire," right? So the chariots, as I mentioned, those are what Esau, the so-called white man, refers to as UFOs, right? But here in the scriptures, and once again, that's a deep topic for another. It's not even that deep. That's a long topic for another day, right? So it says, will come under his chariots like a whirlwind, to rend his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh, or the Lord, right, plead in this word, plead is shapat, which means judge, right? So, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord judge all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So many people gonna die when the Lord comes back, right? And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is, right? It's Revelation 1:7. It says, "For behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him," right? And those clouds, this is once again referring to them chariots, right? And in these films, once again, I'm saying they show you these things, but then they make it seem like it's some weird, funny faced, what do you call it? Creatures, which you read the description of some of the angels, and they're terrifying to behold, right? However, right, these are the children. These are the angels of the Lord, right? However, Yahweh Shai, right? He's just when he walks in the scene, you have a description of it, right? In Revelation 1, right, further on in this chapter, Yahweh Shai, he was, what do you call it? He was a dark-skinned man from the tribe of Judah, right? And that's one thing they're not expecting, right? They're not expecting, so you mean to tell me a so-called black man's going to crack them skies? Yeah, well, yeah, right? Why? Because it is prophecy, right? It says, and every eye shall see him, right? It says, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. Right, because once again, we read in Isaiah 66, coming to bring death, right? So people going well, right? They're going to see the Lord, and they're going to be like, oh, fuck, the destruction, the chariots, the missiles will be fired, these ICBM nuclear missiles, and then the Lord's coming, putting that cherry on top, right? All of these calamities, and all in one day, right? America gonna be destroyed in 1 hour, right? All of it, right? Oh, and yeah, this point here, which I believe that's all I got, right? This point here is basically inspired by, a scene in the film where what would you call it? Thanos is like, look, man, I see what I got to do now because look, I destroyed half of you, but the other half, y'all just couldn't let go. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna destroy all of you, right? And then I'm a what do you call it? I'm a rebuild, right? I'm gonna rebuild everything, right? From scratch, and they'll have no remembrance, right? Well, what made me think is that this scripture is Revelation 9:20 says, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hand, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorcery, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. Right? So after the Lord, after the destruction, right, you gonna have people that they're gonna carry on doing their wickedness. They ain't gonna repent, right? Right? They gonna stay in their what do you call it? In their what do you call it? In their warped ideologies, right? But then they gotta get judged, right? But yeah, like I said, that was just one inspired from that film, Avengers, and that like I said, waffle. So until next time, I'd say shalom.